What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one, the only Ash Brown, and this is the Ash Said It Show. Over 1,800 episodes, 500,000 streams and growing. All of this is on account of you guys, so thank you for the shares, the cares. It makes a huge, huge difference. Today, I have another exclusive. You guys know I love when you guys give me all these wonderful people to seek out and see, hey, is it going to work? Can I get them on the schedule? Can I get them on the calendar? This young lady is doing major things. She's got an EP that is releasing next week, June the 2nd. I'm talking about Torrey McDowell. Hey, Torrey.
Hey.
How are you today?
I'm great. I love that introduction. Thank you so much.
Because you're big stuff, okay? You're lighting up the South, you know? You're making sure that things are good, you know, back to Georgia. You know, I love it.
Yes.
All right, so, Torrey, to start things off, when did you realize that you had this knack for singing?
I have always been, in elementary school, I hummed constantly. I actually used to get in trouble for that in school all the time. I would have to pull my stick or my card every day. I think it was one of those things, it was a subconscious thing. I didn't really realize I was doing it. And then when I was in elementary school, I had a chorus teacher, Miss Crumley, who was like, hey, you know, like, you don't sing at the appropriate times necessarily, but you have a good voice. And I think before that, I just like loved music and just liked to sing and hum, and I always just felt like music was in my head. But it wasn't until then that I thought, hey, like, you know, maybe I can do more with music. And that was during American Idol time too, so it just enthralled all that for me even more as a kid in elementary school.
All right, so you got a hook on it. You're like, you know what? I'm kind of good at this stuff, and people like it. It sounds good. You know, it's making all those little feats out there. But what would you say was the biggest challenge in the beginning?
Confidence, and I would say that's still probably my biggest challenge. I think inherently human beings always kind of size up the room that they're in, and we automatically assume if someone has a cuter outfit on than us or whatever, that we're somehow inherently less than what we are. And I think that's just, I've been doing that to myself in a lot of capacities my whole life, but especially when it comes to music, because there are so many people that are also very talented. And so I think for me, the hardest is always confidence and feeling like I have a place and space and that the room that I'm in, that I am qualified to be there. It's always probably what I struggle with the most. And it has always been consistently that for me.
That is so wild to hear you say that, because I've been seeing all of the artwork, all the cover work and everything. Girl, you're exuding confidence, so you fooled the heck out of me.
Oh, thank you. I know it. I will say my photographer, Libby Danforth, is incredible, and she made me feel like a literal celebrity in those photos. But also, I have really great friends and family that that I don't deserve, that have put in a lot of work and time to also help build me up and maintain as much as I can. So I really appreciate that. In my head, I might not have felt that way, but I have good people around me to help me, you know, be as confident as I can.
Yeah, you're rocking it out, girl. You are definitely rocking it out. So we're going to talk about Not a Man, your extended EP. It drops next week, June the 2nd. Where did the inspiration come for this project?
I've always written songs. It started as poetry in elementary school and kind of developed, but I've always been doing that. It wasn't really until college. I had a lot of life things happen that were really awful, and I had stopped music altogether. I started writing the base of some of these songs, specifically Coming Back to Georgia and Not a Man, years ago. But these were the themes, and the inspiration were things that I thought I would never be able to publicly share, nor ever be confident enough to feel like I could share those things, at least genuinely anyways. And I think for me, and I think that a lot of people had this during COVID, at least that I've spoken with, but during that time, it was just like the world kind of stopped, and everything that anybody was kind of working towards or wanted to do or day-to-day things just got disrupted majorly. For me, it was a time where I was like, at any point in time, life could change in any capacity. And then you're just going to say, well, crap, I never did any of the things I wanted to do because I was afraid that somebody might not like what I had to say or somebody might not like my perspective. And so during COVID, I decided to say, screw it. I literally, in the midst of that, put my notice in at work, was applying for jobs like crazy, and thought, I'm moving to Nashville. I don't care. This is what I'm going to do. And that's what I decided to do, because I feel like I just woke up and had this aha moment in the midst of all that, where I was like, I don't like this feeling where the world is stopping and I feel like I'm being idle and I'm wasting time. And in reality, that's what I was doing already before COVID, because I wasn't really doing what I wanted to do. So that was a good hard stop for me to just be like, whatever. Like, you never know when your time is over. You never know. And I'm just like sitting around being miserable for what reason? Like, so that was really what it was for me.
Right on. Now, walk us through the track list as far as like each song and, what was, maybe some of little tidbits of what was behind the songs. Yeah.
So, Out Loud was the first song that I released. I wrote that with Caroline McGowan and Kimberly Linville, super talented musicians. Caroline has great music as well, so y'all should check that out. But that song was really the basis for, was the first completed song, really, besides Coming Back to Georgia for This, which really is just tackling the idea of, like, kind of having quiet love, because you don't want, you don't want people to know what's going on because you're afraid yourself or what your family might think or what people in the community around you may see or think. So we decided, like, let's just write a song about what we want to be able to do and sing about it and write about it until we can ourselves start feeling like we're going to live that way. And that's really what the base of that song is. It Gets Better was the next one that I released. That was written by Cole Miracle, who's also an incredibly talented songwriter in Nashville. So much good stuff, and he writes a lot of pop, very, very broad, just a great writer. I heard that song. It was never supposed to be on my EP. I was actually doing a write with him and Caroline, and I had already had a different song picked that I was going to record, but I heard this song, and I thought, oh my gosh, I want this song. I have to cut this song. So I talked to him about it, and he said, are you singing at any rounds anytime soon? Because he hadn't really heard me perform. And I said, oh, I actually have one, in a couple of days. So he came out and he listened. And then afterwards, I was like, kind of thinking, okay, so what'd you think? And he's like, you can have the song. And I was so excited because I just love the simplicity of the song, but also that song he actually wrote initially for someone that was kind of their, like, coming out story after a year of reflection of them being out and being proud. And that theme of It Gets Better. So to me, I felt like even though he wrote the song for a friend, it was 100% applicable to the message that I was trying to convey with my music and my EP specifically. So I just thought, oh my gosh, this is like divine intervention. I have to have this song once I heard that story behind it. And I was like, yes. So hard stop turn on all the plans I had from EP and did that one. And then Coming Back to Georgia was the third one released, which I wrote the hook of several years ago. And a lot of my friends and family love that song. They've been hearing it for years. I've pitched it to a couple of publishers, had it taken a couple of times, but just really thought, you know what, this is my song. I'm just going to put it on this EP because it really was the first song that I ever professionally recorded. And one of the first times that I came to Nashville as a musician. So it was important to me. Not a Man, though, I wrote with Hope Dowds Griffin, and she is a great writer as well. We write together pretty often, but this song, I've written a lot of songs, and I love a lot of songs I've written, and I don't like a lot of songs I've written. It just depends on the time. But this song, for me, is just probably will always be really special to me. They all will, but this one has a special place for me because it's kind of, to be really frank, it's the realization that when you are in a relationship with somebody, particularly when it's the same sex, it is really easy to feel like no matter what you do, how many accomplishments you have, how good of a person you are, how hard you work, any of those things, you might still not ever be enough for other people and for that person's family because you are not a man, and that's what they perceive you should be, or their person should be with. And there's a lot of details I could share about inspiration behind that, but I don't want to share those things and out people specifically. But like it has been a theme, and I know so many other people personally who are incredible people. I mean, they have done life-altering things for other people and just contribute so much to society. And they will never be accepted by their partner's family because, of their gender, even though it's like they have literally could check every box off that any parent would ever want their child to have in a person. And for me, I had to sit on that and think about that for years, because that was the biggest hurdle for me to overcome, to think that I might not be welcome somewhere. And I know that happens to a lot of other people in different minority groups and such too, and I hate that. And so I can't tell that story for other people. I can't speak on other people's experiences, but I know from my own experience that I know that people can be ostracized simply because of what they look like, their skin color, what they believe, all these things. And I hate that for people. And so I really wanted to really honestly just be bold and publicly share the experience that I had, because I think that other people need to hear that. It's hard, but it's important. So I love all my songs. I love all the songs, but this one's just really special to me.
Yes, I think that this collection is going to be incredible for people that haven't already heard and haven't already checked you out. They need to be going all across all the different mediums and checking this stuff out. But like I said, June the 2nd, you guys, all right, not a man drops. All right,
Thank you.
Being able to put that. Last but certainly not least, Torrey, you've been through a lot. You've had a lot of aspirations throughout the years. You've gone through the hurdles and the challenges and the trials and tribulations of this industry. What advice would you offer to any up-and-coming acts, anybody that wants to be in the industry, a singer, songwriter, producer, whatever the case is? What advice would you offer them today?
I literally was just talking on the phone to somebody about this exact question. Yeah. There's a lot of probably variety of answers that anybody that works in the industry might share. My day-to-day job, I work at a music business firm, so I do the ins and outs of that side of the business side of the music industry. But so I kind of get to see both sides of it. To me, in all honesty, what I will tell people is that, and this might sound terrible to some, but there is a such thing as too much of something. Too much of anything is not good. Yeah. And I've only been in Nashville for almost right at 2 years. I moved here in June in 2021, so almost exactly 2 years. I have already found myself feeling burnout in a lot of capacities that I feel like I should be able to go longer than that before feeling those feelings. And the reality is, people identify themselves as a musician, as an artist, and then they have a heart. This is me speaking, assuming for others, but this is how I have felt about myself and what I've had to think about. Like, we are so much more than the things that we create and the music that we make or the art that we do or what we write or anything like that. And I think that I personally have put myself in a bubble where when I'm not doing something that's art related, I am somehow not investing my time well, or I'm somehow not working as hard as other people because I should be 100% solely focused on making music and nothing else. And I really truly believe that there is a such thing as too much for in any capacity ever at all. Like, if you have to have separation, you have to have other passions and interests and things that fill your heart and give you joy, because you will literally lose your mind in this town if you don't. And I've been there, and I'm like still working through those hurdles, and to be quite frank, trying to overcome those things currently, and make sure that I keep the love and passion of music at the forefront instead of feeling like it has to be perfect, it has to be right, because when you try to do that and make it exactly whatever you think perfect is when you probably will be least, happy with what you've created, and then you're just going to feel terrible about yourself, because those are the positions I've been in. So I would encourage people to keep up other hobbies and have friends that are not in the industry, and date people who are not in the industry, and have separation, because human beings are so complex and we all have so many great gifts. And art is one of my favorite things and one of my gifts, but there are other things that I contribute to the world, and that goes for all of us. And it literally has taken me I'm 30 years old. It has been this long that I have finally started to realize you're allowed to be more than one thing. You're allowed to be more than one type of person. And it's so relieving to finally be like, I can do a lot of things with my life. And it's all equally really cool and exciting. And it makes me like the music more, because I don't feel like everything I have is in one basket. That saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket, I guess, or whatever. But
certainly true. Torrey McDowell, thank you so much for coming through. Certainly appreciate you, Miss Lady.
Thank you.
The EP Not a Man drops next week, June the 2nd. Torrey, let everyone know how they can get it and how they can keep up with you.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Torrey, TORREY MCD. That's the same on TikTok. And then my music is out on all streaming platforms. You can pre-save the EP now. If you go to my Instagram, you can find my website there, and there's a pre-save link. But you can also, just search my name, Torrey McDowell, on any music platforms, and it will be there.
Sounds like the plan. Torrey, much more success to you and beyond for the rest of the year into next year and the next year. Looking forward to
Thank you so much.
Seeing what happens with you next. And you have to come back, because I know there's going to be some more stuff happening this year for you. So you got to come back.
Definitely. I would love to. I so appreciate you giving me the time and opportunity to do this. I've had a great evening.
Absolutely. And thank you to each and every one of you guys for all of your love and support. Keeping in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face, you tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.